despite education, despite vocation, despite living in urban areas, despite being open access to modern ideas, the social conservatism and the sense of male entitlement and sense of male ego as the final say in family and society doesn't change. Why?
Thank you so much. This is the most terrifying thought which is actually going on my mind also. Whatever the formal investigation and beyond the courtrooms, we must also question how safe our daughters truly are, not on the streets, but inside their own homes.
We know that they hail from a state where Khap Panchayat is the norm. Men are constantly told that they can control women, especially women in their families and women outside. Nobody can make any singular decision for themselves or their lives. And he is lying as far as I can think of, because no father would say that, I've just had an argument because of people saying, taunting him about it. He seems to have been, very, very clear that he wants to finish her. 5 bullets, point blank, and making a drama of having an argument. I think we need to go deep to find out why is it that we as a society, as community, and the state structures, the police and the court, allow such people to get away saying that these are crimes of passion when they are not just crimes of passion. They are toxic masculinity, allowing violence on women, saying that's passe, it's okay. That's what is happening everywhere. Nobody is going to punish me any further. And he goes back to his family and he will go back to his community and they will all say, okay, doesn't matter.
I think it's pretty much well documented, and it happens out of social moves, the cultural context, and less with mental health. Rekha Agarwal.
All I can say over here is this is murder most foul. Nothing can justify it. Whether it is a patriarchal mindset or whether he was upset over his daughter, running an academy, and he did not agree with her lifestyle, whether people were taunting her that she's doing something which is probably, doesn't suit the lifestyle of the father, whether he was living off her income or whether he was not, keeping all those things aside, whether he was undergoing depression, anything at all will not justify what Deepak Yadav has done. What can be seen that, he has killed her. This is a cold-blooded murder. So in the eyes of law, there are some murders which can be some killings, which can fall under the category of exceptions, what we call provisos. For example, grave provocation, or to save your own life. So certainly this murder which has been committed, upon this young girl, Radhika, by her own father, would not fall in the category of any exception which law would pardon or condone or, take it in a lighter manner because, certainly because if she was running her tennis academy, this cannot be grave provocation or a sudden provocation. This can certainly not be, for saving your own life or, in self-defense. So these are the exceptions under which a murder can be, taken as, culpable homicide not amounting to murder, or, and a lighter sentence can be given. But this is a clear case, which is a well-planned murder. There is what is called a mens rea attached to it. In a legal parlance, but the words that we use are called mens rea. Was there an intention to kill? Yes, there was an intention to kill because this was building up. I'm just going by what the media reports are, that the villagers and probably some relatives and friends, were taunting him. So he had an intention to kill. It was building up. Plus, he knew the result of his action, that if I shoot, she is going to die. This was not just a blow, not just a slap or a punch which he gave out of anger. He used his revolver to kill her. He used his pistol to kill her. So he was very much certain of the outcome of his action, and he pumped in not one bullet but 5 bullets, 3 of which hit the girl. So this is one of those cases where the prosecution will certainly be able to prove the guilt of the accused person, and this would not fall in any exceptional category where he can be pardoned.